What's going on, guys? It's time for another recommendation video covering what I believe is the best vehicle to use for Horizon Open. Today we're going to cover cross-country racing. I think this particular vehicle is the one you should be using for B700 custom racing in the cross-country discipline in Forza Horizon 5. And that vehicle is none other than the 1975 Ford Bronco. I made a revised tune for the vehicle. I'll show it on screen right now. It is called B700 Off-Road, and I will also show the share code. This thing is an absolute blast to drive. If you were here to watch my very first Forza Horizon 5 trial video way back when, I recommended this vehicle. However, the tune today compared to that tune is like complete polar opposites. That one was all handling based, acceleration, speed was not a priority at all. I've learned a lot since then about this game, how the suspension components are a lot different than they were in 4, how they affect handling and everything else. So it's a lot different than that setup was, which honestly that really wasn't the best car to use at the time. I've definitely tuned this thing to make it a lot better than it was then. This thing is, like I said, very, very fun to drive. It's very, very fast. Once you get your driving line figured out and everything, you're going to just crush people. It's really fun. There are a lot of kind of staple vehicles you'll see amongst the people that have a lot of experience with Horizon Open. You'll see the Ram Power Wagon. You'll see the Ford F450 Super Duty. You'll see the International Scout. Those are probably like the big three that the more experienced, seasoned people like to use. And in some certain situations, like for the higher speed cross-country trail races, they, like the Ram in particular, can sort of edge this thing out. Sometimes it just depends, but I think overall you combine all the different types of cross-country races you'll experience. You got the trails and you got the different types of circuits. I think this Bronco with this style of tune on it together is the best B700 cross-country vehicle you can use. I think it's just a very, very balanced package. You know, it attacks all different types of the cross-country racing. It has really decent speed. It handles really well. Even though the handling statistic isn't that impressive, it actually handles pretty well. And it has really good acceleration given the kind of slower style transmission. It's very good. I did kind of make the transmission a little better, obviously, by adding the best clutch they have available in the upgrading menu, and I put a 7-speed transmission on it, which it doesn't really get to 6th or 7th gear very often unless you're on one of those the cross-country races where you're going downhill super fast. It'll kind of climb into 6th and 7th at that point, but usually it tops out in the 5th gear. So, and having the more gears, it does kind of make the slow shifting kind of factor be mitigated, you know, for the most part. Actually kept the stock suspension on this truck. One of my viewers in that very first trial video from way back when actually told me that they used the Bronco with the stock suspension. I've always used rally springs on like every single cross-country build I've made in Horizon 4 and in this game, but I just kind of thought about it. It's sort of an inspirational thing. It came back to me. I'm like, no, and I'm going to try stock suspension and see what happens. And really, in this game, having the stock suspensions on like cross-country style tunes where you're going to be doing a lot of jumping and a lot of hard landing, it really, really does help a lot in terms of just the way the car rebounds after a jump. Like, no matter what you do to a custom suspension with like spring, you know, how tight or not how tight, how stiff or how soft springs are and damping and all that stuff, sometimes the car will like kind of bounce after it lands. And with the stock suspension, it really doesn't do that. You are losing the like steering angle adjustment and the alignment and that sort of thing. But if you have like a smaller, more compact cross-country vehicle, it's not really going to matter that much at all. So for this kind of build, I definitely recommend stock suspension actually. So whoever that was that commented on that, I really appreciated that, because it kind of popped in my head, made me kind of remember that, and it actually does work like a charm with this 1975 Ford Bronco. However, no matter what suspension you do have on this, there are some very, very, very inconsistent handling characteristics about this particular car, and really a lot of vehicles in general. You'll notice on, I think it's the Costera cross-country circuit, there is very weird random situations where you'll take that very first jump to start the lap and you like land like a ton of bricks. Usually it handles completely fine, but every now and again it'll just hit really hard and it'll get stuck in whatever gear you're in, and it takes a few seconds to get going. It really screws you up. In my experience, it's happened every single time. It's been on lap 3 when it does happen. There are races where it won't happen at all, but sometimes it does happen. It's always on lap 3. I don't know if it's just a weird coincidence in the coding or what it is, but it's very frustrating. I'll actually show a clip of that right now. Very frustrating. I don't know why it does that, but I've noticed it does that with a few different vehicles as well. I've been running with people that have used one of the internationals, the International Scout, and it's done the same thing. So just some weird way with, I guess, how certain cars handle, or maybe you're just hitting that perfect spot to make it do that. I don't know. Either way, that's kind of a fluky situation. It doesn't happen very often. It's just that one track. You can, since I do the open top on it, if you can't tell by the footage already, it gives you more speed, but it does make it a little bit more unstable. If you're on the urban cross-country circuit, as a good example, if you take the, let's see, which turn would it be? One of the first turns when you actually go on the off-road section, after you take the first jump, if you like turn the wheel as hard as you can and you're on the gas, the thing can roll over, but it's kind of hard to get to do that. Once you learn how to kind of know when the vehicle's starting to kind of reach a certain tipping point, you can definitely get it under control. You'll see in the footage I kind of do a good job. If you kind of, it's going to be kind of hard to tell if you're not, well, since the audio is kind of muted since I'm doing a voiceover, but you can kind of tell I do have to kind of feather the throttle at certain points just to kind of keep the wheels from spinning too much and keep it from kind of wanting to get out of control. But once again though, if you get everything ironed out, get everything with your driving line and your driving habits figured out with this tune and this vehicle, this thing is just, it's so fast. It's very fun to drive. It handles more like a, kind of like a dirt racer does than a typical off-road truck. It's really fun. I'm not really a big fan of like the huge trucks. Like I tried to, I've recommended in cross-country videos like the Ranger T6. It's okay, but and the new Bronco, it's good as well. But I think this one can beat both of them. It suits more of my driving style of it kind of handling more like a dirt vehicle does. But I think overall it's the best vehicle you can go with. And if you're surprised I picked a Ford, don't be surprised, because they make the best racing vehicles on the planet. They always have, they always will. Everyone knows what Ford stands for. Say it with me together. If you say the wrong one, if you say the wrong acronym, I'm gonna know. I'm gonna sense it. Don't try to mess with me, because I will know. Ford stands for first on race day. That's why I picked a Ford, and that's why you should pick a Ford. Go buy it right now. Go download this tune. Go dominate some Forza, Horizon 5, open, custom racing. You're not going to regret it. It's going to be very fun. The footage I've been showing here is just a random Horizon open session, all 3 races. This thing kind of mopped the floor with everybody I was going against. It's like I said, I have lost before to like a Ram Power Wagon or something like that on certain races. A lot of times it is the fluky, stupid, like land like a ton of bricks, slow me down stuff that makes me lose. But if that stuff's not at play, I don't lose very often. I usually win all the circuit races. There is like 1 or 2, actually really 1 of the trail races where I can lose, but usually it doesn't happen very often. This thing, like I said, very balanced amongst all the types of cross-country racing in this game. It's very fun for the Titan. If you're able to run into one of the Horizon Open sessions with the Titan involved, it's very fun. Bottom line though, I recommend this vehicle, I recommend this tune. Leave a like on the video if it helped you out. Comment if you have used this before, how your tunes or preferences for this vehicle have kind of differed from mine. Let me know if you plan on giving this thing a go. Hopefully you guys can give this a go and find some success in Horizon Open, climb up the leaderboards, get a higher rank, and just have more fun with the game. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. I will be doing a road racing video very soon as well, covering Horizon Open, so hopefully you guys are here for that, along with the trial videos. Whatever videos are next, I will see you guys there.